Probably going to run just inside 2:10. And on a course which I think probably most people would say
we don't see any competition out there. 300 meters to go. It is a Yeshi Chekole.
ይህ በ2026 የመጀመሪያው ወር ላይ ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች በታላቅ ድል የነገሱበት አሸናፊነታቸውም በመላው ዓለም የተዘመረለት የ2026 ታታ ሙምባይ ማራቶን ነው። የዓለም አትሌቲክስ የወርቅ ደረጃ የሰጠው ይህ የማራቶን ውድድር በፈረንጆቹ ጃንዋሪ 18 2026 ነበር የተደረገው። በህንድ ሙምባይ ከተማ የሚካሄደው የዚህ ማራቶን ውድድር ከሌሎች በአህጉሪቱ እስያ ከሚዘጋጁ የጎዳና ውድድሮች ለየት ባለ መልኩ ዓለም አቀፍ የመገናኛ ብዙሃን ቀልብን የሚስብ ሲሆን አንጋፋነቱም እንደዚሁ ይነገርለታል። ደግሞ እጅግ ዳጎስ ያለ ገንዘብም ለሽልማት ይዘጋጃል። $50,000 ሽልማትን ለማፈስ የተዘጋጁት ኢትዮጵያውያን ዘንድሮ 42 ኪሎ ሜትሩን ርቀት በጥንቃቄ በሙምባይ ከተማ አውራ ጎዳናዎች ላይ እርስ በእርስ አሸናፊ ሆኖ ለማጠናቀቅ በሚደረግ የፉክክር መንፈስ አሳልፈውታል። የተወደዳችሁ የኢትዮ አትሌቲክስ ተከታታዮች ለዛሬ በሁለቱም ጾታ ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች ደምቀው የታዩበትን የሙምባይ ማራቶንን ሃይላይት ይዘን መተናል። ላይክ፣ ሼር፣ ኮሜንት በማድረግ ይህ ቪዲዮ ለብዙ ሰዎች እንዲዳረስ አግዙን። ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግ ቤተሰባችን መሆኑን እንዳትዘነጉት።
It is about to kick off. The time is rather close, and this is what the world has been waiting for, Tim.
It is indeed, yes. Away they go. You know, all that pent-up energy. These athletes, you've got to remember, have been training for months for this moment. They've been easing off in training for the last 10 days. Their energy, their nerves, mental and physical energy building over this last week or so, and now it can be unleashed on the course. But they've got to get the judgment right. You have to gauge your effort and spread your energies. It's no good getting to halfway.
ጅማሮውን በፈረንጆቹ 2004 ያደረገው የሙምባይ ማራቶን አህጉሪቱ እስያ ላይ ከሚደረጉ ትልልቅ የጎዳና ውድድሮች መካከል በግንባር ቀደምትነት ይጠቀሳል። በግዙፍነቱ የሚስተካከለው የለም። በርካታ ተሳታፊዎችን በመያዝ በእስያ ትልቁ ማራቶን የሚባለው ይህ የሙምባይ ማራቶን ነው። ውድድሩ ህንድ ሀገር ላይም ትልቅ ሽልማት ገንዘብን በመስጠት የሚስተካከለው የለም። አጠቃላይ $405,000 የሽልማት ቋት ለአሸናፊዎች ይዘጋጃል። እናም ትልቅ የሚባለውን ይህንን ሽልማት ለመቋደስ አትሌቶች ፉክክራቸውን ያደርጋሉ። ከማራቶን ባለፈ ግማሽ ማራቶንና 10 ኪሎ ሜትር ሩጫም በታታ ሙምባይ ማራቶን ላይ ይደረጋል። ይህ ውድድር በሌላው ዓለም እንዳሉ ውድድሮች ሁሉ የኛው ሀገር አትሌቶች በበላይነት ከዚህ ቀደም ተቆጣጥረውታል። ታሪክም የሚያስረዳው የሙምባይ ማራቶን ለኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች እጅግ የቀለለ መሆኑን ነው። ሙምባይና ዱባይ ማራቶን በኢትዮጵያውያን የተያዘ ነው የሚባል ማጋነን አይሆንም። ሙምባይ ላይ ከተደረጉ እስካሁን ከተዘጋጁ 21 የማራቶን ውድድሮች በሴቶች 16 የወርቅ ወይንም የአሸናፊነቱን ቦታ የወሰዱት ኢትዮጵያውያን ሴት አትሌቶች ናቸው። በታሪክ ሙምባይ ላይ ከኢትዮጵያውያን ሌላ አሸናፊ ሆኖ የሚያውቁ ሴት አትሌቶች ብዛት 5 ብቻ ነው ቢባል ማን ያምናል? በወንዶቹም የበላይነቱ እጅግ ከፍ ያለ ነው። 7 ጊዜ ወንድ ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች አሸናፊ ሆነው አጠናቀዋል። በሴቶች ሙሉ ሰቦቃ 3 ጊዜ ስታሸንፍ፣ ድንቅነሽ መካሻ 2 ጊዜ በማሸነፍ ታሪክ ከሰሩት መካከል ይጠቀሳሉ። በወንዶች ለሚ ኃይሌ 2 ጊዜ ይህንን ማራቶን ሙምባይ ላይ አሸንፏል። የቦታውንም ክብረ ወሰን ለሚ 2 ሰዓት ከ07 ደቂቃ ከ32 ሰከንድ በመግባት 2023 ላይ በእጁ የጨበጠው ሲሆን በሴቶቹም ቢሆን የቦታው ክብረ ወሰን በዚያው ዓመት 2023 ላይ አንቺ ዓለም ሃይማኖት 2 ሰዓት ከ24 ከ15 ስትገባ ይዛዋለች። ዘንድሮ በሁለቱም ጾታ አሸናፊ ለሚሆኑ አትሌቶች $50,000 ሽልማት ተዘጋጅቷል። ለሁለተኛው $25,000፣ ለሶስተኛው ደግሞ $15,000 ሽልማት አዘጋጆቹ አሰናድተዋል። ይህንን ደግሞ አሸናፊ ሆነው ሽልማቱን ለመውሰድ ከተዘጋጁ ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች መካከል ግንባር ቀደም አሸናፊነት ግምት የተሰጣቸውን ጥቂቶቹን እናስተዋውቃችሁ። በወንዶቹ ታዱ አባተ አንደኛው ነው። የ28 ዓመቱ አትሌት አትሌት እጅግ ትልቅ የሚባል የአሸናፊነት ግምት ተሰጥቶታል። ታዱ አባተ በ2025 በርካታ የማራቶን ውድድሮችን ሲያደርግ ተመልክተነዋል። ታህሳስ ወር ላይ በነበረ የሸንዘን ማራቶን በቻይና ሁለተኛ ሆኖ አጠናቋል። 2 ሰዓት ከ09:43 ሰከንድ የገባበት ነበረ። ደግሞ በሜክሲኮ ሲቲ ነሐሴ ወር ላይ በተደረገ ውድድር 2 ሰዓት ከ11:15 በመግባት አንደኛ ሆኖ ማጠናቀቅ ችሏል። ሌላኛውን የቻይና የጂንሊን ሲቲ ማራቶን 2 ሰዓት ከ08:35 በመግባት ግንቦት ወር ላይ ሶስተኛ ሆኖ የጨረሰ አትሌት ነበረ። ከዚያ ባለፈ በዚያው በቻይና በውዢ ማራቶን አራተኛ ሆኖ ገብቷል። 2 ሰዓት ከ07:15 ያስመዘገበው ሰዓት ነበረ። በ2025 ሁለት የግማሽ ማራቶን ውድድሮችን አድርጓል። አንደኛውን በሂውስተን ግማሽ ማራቶን 1 ሰዓት ከ01 በመግባት 30ኛ ሲወጣ በጓዳላሃራ የሜክሲኮ ግማሽ ማራቶን ደግሞ 1 ሰዓት ከ02 በመግባት አንደኛ ሆኖ መጨረስ ችሏል። ይህ አትሌት ለአሸናፊነት በህንድ ሙምባይ ማራቶን ተጠብቋል። አትሌቱ 2 ሰዓት ከ06:18 በመግባት 2024 ላይ በውጂ የቻይና ማራቶን አሸናፊ ሲሆን ከዚህ በፊት ተመልክተነዋል። የግል የማራቶን ፈጣን ሰዓቱን ደግሞ ቶኪዮ ላይ በጃፓን 2 ሰዓት ከ05:38 2023 ላይ መግባት ችሏል። ደግሞ በ2017 በፖርቱጋል ሊዝቦአ የግማሽ ማራቶን ውድድርን 1 ሰዓት ከ00:46 መግባት የቻለ አትሌት ነው። በ10 ኪሎ ሜትርም 29 ደቂቃ ከ08 አለው። ታዱ አባተ ለአሸናፊነት በሙምባይ ከሚጠበቁ የወንድ አትሌቶች መካከል ይጠቀሳል። ሌላኛው አትሌት ገዳ ገምሲሳ ነው። ይህ አትሌት በሙምባይ ማራቶን ለአሸናፊነት ከሚጠበቁ የመጀመሪያ የማራቶን ውድድራቸውን ከሚያደርጉ ኢትዮጵያውያን መካከል የሚጠቀስ ስም ሆኖ አግኝተነዋል። ኪዳነ ማርያም አሰፋ ሌላኛው ኢትዮጵያዊ ሯጭ ነው። ይህ አትሌት 2024 ላይ በነበረ የአቡዳቢ ማራቶን 2 ሰዓት ከ11:16 በመግባት 10ኛ ሆኖ አጠናቋል። እናም በሙምባይ ለአሸናፊነት ተጠብቋል። ከልክሌ ገዛኸኝ ሌላኛው ኢትዮጵያዊ ነው። ከልክሌ በ2026 በሙምባይ ማራቶን ለአሸናፊነት እንዲጠበቅ ምክንያት ከሆኑት ሰዓቶቹ መካከል ሮተርዳም ላይ በ2018 የገባበት 2 ሰዓት ከ05:56 ሰዓቱ ግንባር ቀደም ላይ ተቀምጦለታል። ይህ አትሌት 2025 ላይ በነበረ የቼክ ሪፐብሊክ ማራቶን በፕራግ 2 ሰዓት ከ13:23 በመግባት 9ኛ ሆኖ ማጠናቀቅ ችሏል። ደግሞ በ2024 ሁለት የማራቶን ውድድሮችን ቼክ ሪፐብሊክ ፕራግ ላይ እና ቱርክ ላይ አድርጎ 8ኛና 10ኛ ሆኖ ጨርሷል። ነገር ግን ባለልምዱ አትሌት በሙምባይ ተአምር ሊፈጥርና ሊያሸንፍ ይችላል ተብሎ ተጠብቋል።
የዩቲዩብ ተከታታዮች ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግ ቤተሰብ መሆን እንዳትዘነጉ። ላይክ እና ሼር በማድረግ ለሌሎች እንዲዳረስም አድርጉ።
We're looking forward to one of these elite international men breaking that record.
I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We'll know very soon because only 12 minutes on the clock. It's too early to say. But I'll tell you what, second to right here in the pink top is Kartik Kakera from Maharashtra. And his best is 2:20. He's an orthopedic surgeon, can you believe? We were talking earlier about how some of our people are professionals, they have busy lives, they still find time to train. This guy's knocking on the door of international class as a great runner. Kartik Kakera in the pink there, third to right, an orthopedic surgeon and just cruising along with this pack. Looks very smooth.
It is very intriguing and amazing to see people from all walks of life and doing a rather good job of it and becoming pro athletes. Now, Indian women, take me through that for you.
Well, I'm just looking, Noma Ben Thakur, I'm just trying to see Noma Ben. Is that her there right in the middle in the white vest, I think? Yeah, she's the defending champion. Ran 2:50 last year. Her personal best 2:47. That was when she was 10th in Mumbai back in 2022. She was the first Indian that day as well. So she knows this course really well. She knows the city. And that does help. It definitely helps, especially when there are hurdles to cover, like that big hill in the latter stages. And there's the men turning left onto Marine Drive. They're heading south now, basically, towards Nariman Point. Big pack. It's about 20 strong, as we expected. But conditions looking really good there. And you can see runners from earlier races, they're moving along in the bottom road. They're closer to the water. And effectively, the race becomes its own crowd because they will be cheering on that elite field.
Right, but more importantly, just as a viewer right now, I can tell you something, Tim. That rhythm, the rhythm that they have is truly hypnotic. And along with that, you've got the Marine Drive, you've got the Art Deco buildings on one side. On the other side, you can't see it right now, but you've got the Arabian Sea. So you've got a spectacular view. As our drone pulls out, we will be able to show you the Arabian Sea and the whole view of Mumbai. This is the most iconic location of Mumbai. Every time you see a picture of Mumbai, you will see a Marine Drive. And in the night, as these lights go on, you see the Queen's Necklace. The bend of Marine Drive, this is where the Queen's Necklace is formed. And there you see our runners taking on the streets this morning on Jan 18th. It is rather picturesque, isn't it?
It's glorious, yes, and it's still not fully daylight. I mean, it's still almost a dawn, sort of misty morning. It's been misty for the last few days here in Mumbai, but it's a bit clearer this morning than it was Friday, I think it was. It was very, very misty.
And look at this, it's 26 of the world's fastest marathoners who've exploded onto the field. And they ain't stopping. They're eyeing a record. They are in a full city. A couple of kilometers down. Remember, it's 42.195 kilometers that we're looking forward to in a full marathon. At this particular stage, when does it start to get a little tedious, and then when do you see the body language change?
Well, I'll tell you what, if you're running a marathon, 42k, if you're feeling tired by halfway, you're in trouble. You've got a very, very difficult day ahead of you, a very difficult second half. So all these fellas should be feeling very, very comfortable here. They're actually holding back from what they could be doing. They could sprint off and run much faster than this, but they know full well from a bitter experience, because most people have a bad race now and again. They know full well they've got to get the judgment right. So just cruising along now, get to halfway in a fast time, but feeling comfortable.
Right, it is just about that one moment, isn't it? It's that one moment of disaster, one moment of glory. But spectacular aerial view that we just saw. The elite pack, of course, streaming away from the CST station. They've taken on to the Marine Drive. The morning sun definitely casting long shadows across the Mumbai streets. It's still not out completely, but it will get a little difficult once it's out, because the conditions will get rather heated up. These are some of the iconic buildings on the Marine Drive that they're crossing.
So 5.4 kilometres there, 16:19. It would be great to get a 5k split. Haven't got that just yet, but I think after the first kilometre was the 3:01, they will have got to 5k in about 15:10, something like that, and that would put them pretty much on perfect tempo for the course record, the event record. They've negotiated that U-turn there at the southernmost tip of the course, and they're now heading with the sea on their left, back past the Trident Hotel and onto the long drag around the Marine Drive and the Queen's Necklace, as it's called.
Yep, you'll be able to see the Queen's Necklace, of course, when the lights go on. But right now what they've done is taken that U-turn.
They've taken that U-turn and moving very smoothly now. And the pacemaker's doing a good job. You will have noticed the pacemaker's taken on drinks. Very, very important in a marathon, especially when you know it's going to be warm through the second half. To take on liquids early. You should always, in a marathon, in a long-running event, even a half marathon, take on liquid before you feel thirsty. If you take on the liquids only when you feel thirsty, you've left it too late. That's the golden rule. So keep sipping from very, very early on. And you will see all those elite athletes grabbing drinks at the drink stations. There are special drink stations for them every 5 kilometres. They handed in drinks bottles last night, specially made up concoctions for each athlete. Their own bottles easily identifiable. And when they get to the drinks tables every 5k, they make sure they grab their own bottle.
I need to keep myself hydrated as well, considering my voice is breaking.
You do need to keep yourself hydrated.
Well, that's the beauty of the temperatures here in Mumbai. You know, it's changing.
It is changing, yes, and these 4 pacemakers forming a wall across the road. Now, I've heard that they want to get to halfway in 63:45, which is what, 2:07:30 pace, and that event record, 2:07:32. So if they get it right here, it will be absolutely brilliant, and we could see some very fast times rolled out today. That pack tucked in behind the pacemakers, who are 4 abreast. Now that also signals to me.
በሴቶቹም ቢሆን ኢትዮጵያውያን ትልቅ የአሸናፊነት ግምት አግኝተው ነበር የገቡት። አንደኛዋ የሺ ካላዩ ቸኮል ናት። ይቺ የ28 ዓመት የማራቶን ሯጭ 2025 ላይ 3 የማራቶን ውድድሮችን አድርጋለች። 3ቱም በእስያ ነበሩ። ጃፓን ላይ በኦሳካ ማራቶን አቋርጣ ወጣለች። ቻይና ላይ የነበረ የሃርቢን ማራቶንን 2 ሰዓት ከ30 ከ05 ገብታ 4ኛ ሆና ጨርሳለች። በደቡብ ኮሪያ ደግሞ 2 ሰዓት ከ23 ከ26 በመግባት ሶስተኛ ሆና ማጠናቀቅ የቻለች አትሌት ናት። የማራቶን ፈጣን የሚባል ሰዓቷ 2 ሰዓት ከ21 ከ17 የ2022 ሰዓቷ ነው። በግማሽ ማራቶን 1 ሰዓት ከ07 ከ30 ሰከንድ ማላጋ ስፔን ላይ በ2022 አስመዝግባለች። በ10 ኪሎ ሜትር 32 ደቂቃ ከ40 መሮጥ ችላለች። በ12 ኪሎ ሜትር ደግሞ 38 ደቂቃ ከ49 አላት። ዛሬ በሙምባይ ማራቶን ምናልባትም ያሸንፋሉ ተብለው ከታሰቡ ሴት ኢትዮጵያውያን መካከል አንደኛዋ እቺ አትሌት ትሆናለች ተብሏል። ሌላኛዋ ቅድሳን አለማ ናት። የ30 ዓመቷ አትሌት ትልልቅ የሚባሉ የግል ፈጣን ሰዓቶችን አስመዝግባለች። 2022 በነበረ የሴቪያ ማራቶን 2 ሰዓት ከ22 ከ28 በመግባት የግል የማራቶን ፈጣን ሰዓቷን ይዛለች። የግማሽ ማራቶን ፈጣን ሰዓቷ በ2025 በስፔን የተመዘገበ ነበር። 1 ሰዓት ከ07 ከ07 የ10,000 ሜትር ሯጭ ነበረች። የግል ፈጣን ሰዓቷ ደግሞ 31 ደቂቃ ከ35 ሰከንድ ደግሞ በ5000 ሜትር 15 ደቂቃ ከ03 አላት። የ10 ኪሎ ሜትር የ15 የ5 እና የ3000 ሜትር ሰዓቶቿም በጣም ጥሩ የሚባሉ ናቸው። 2025 ላይ ካደረገቻቸው ውድድሮች መካከል በበርሊን ማራቶን 12ኛ ሆና ስትጨርስ በፓሪስ ደግሞ 7ኛ ሆና ማራቶኗን አጠናቃለች። ስፔን የነበረ ግማሽ ማራቶንን አንደኛ ሆና ነበር የጨረሰችው። በ2024ም በርካታ ጥሩ የሚባሉ ሰዓቶችን ቅድሳን አለማ አስመዝግባለች። ጎጃም ጸጋዬ የ20 ዓመቷ አትሌት ሌላኛዋ በዚህ ውድድር ከሚጠበቁ ኢትዮጵያውያን መካከል ትገኛለች። 2025 ላይ በነበረ የባርሰሎና ማራቶን 2 ሰዓት ከ24 ከ02 በመግባት የግል ፈጣን ሰዓቷን አስመዝግባለች። በግማሽ ማራቶን ጣሊያን ሚላኖ ላይ 1 ሰዓት ከ13 ከ25 ሰከንድ አላት። እቺ አትሌት በሙምባይ ለአሸናፊነት ትንደረደራለች። በ2025 በባርሰሎና ስትሮጥ አይተናታል። 2 ሰዓት ከ24 ከ02 በመግባት 7ኛ ሆና ጎጃም ጸጋዬ ጨርሳለች። ሌላኛው አትሌት ብርቄ ደበሌ ናት። እቺ የ30 ዓመት አትሌት ለበርካታ ዓመታት ስትሮጥ ቆይታለች። በ2019 የገባችበት የቶሮንቶ ዋተርፍሮንት ማራቶን 2 ሰዓት ከ23 ከ19 ሰከንድ ሰዓቷ የግል ፈጣን ሰዓቷ ነው። በግማሽ ማራቶን 2016 ላይ በአልጄሪያ 1 ሰዓት ከ11 ከ49 መግባት ችላለች። እቺ አትሌት ከ2022 ጀምሮ ያለ ውድድር ቆይታለች። እናም በ2026 የሙምባይ ማራቶን ከረጅም ጊዜ መመለስ በኋላ ጥሩ ውጤት ለማስመዝገብ ትንደረደራለች። መዲና ደሜ አርሚኖ ሌላኛዋ ኢትዮጵያዊት አትሌት ናት። የ28 ዓመቷ አትሌት በሙምባይ ማራቶን ለአሸናፊነት ትጠበቃለች። የግል ፈጣን ሰዓቷን በኔዘርላንድ 2025 ላይ አስመዝግባለች። 2 ሰዓት ከ25 ከ09 በመግባት እቺ አትሌት 2025 ላይ ካደረገቻቸው 3 ውድድሮች መካከል 2ቱን በአንደኛነት ነው የጨረሰችው። የኔዘርላንዱን የማራቶን ውድድር 2 ሰዓት ከ25 ከ09 በመግባት አንደኛ ስትሆን ቻይና ደግሞ እንደዚሁ 2 ሰዓት ከ26 ከ27 በአንደኛነት አጠናቃለች። እቺ አትሌት በሙምባይ ማራቶን ከዚህ ቀደም ተካፍላ ታውቃለች። በ2025 ሶስተኛ ሆና ጨርሳለች። ምናልባትም የነሐስ ሜዳሊያዋን ዘንድሮ ወደ ወርቅ የመቀየር እድልን አግኝታለች።
የዩቲዩብ ተከታታዮች ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግ ቤተሰብ መሆን እንዳትዘነጉ። ላይክ እና ሼር በማድረግ ለሌሎች እንዲዳረስም አድርጉ።
The world, they will change. It's a numbers game as well. So we see the elite women here making their climb, and the 10K split for the leading women, 33, 40, 41.
Yeah.
That's solid enough running. Solid enough running. Just checking my cards, what they should be going through. 10K in. That's okay. Okay. They're doing fine.
They're doing
fine.
good, yeah.
They're on pace, on something close to course record tempo. But I was going back to the Indian situation. Looking at it from outside India, it's a numbers game. You've got to throw an awful lot of youngsters and get people training hard in big groups to put some cream to rise to the top. If the pyramid is not big across the base, the peak of the pyramid, the really good talent can't be very high.
So you're right. There hasn't been a system that we have, say, for the track and field events. there isn't for walking, there is, but there isn't for marathon. And road running, we have it up to 10,000 meters, but not beyond. We have the largest grassroots level program in the world where 1 million children take part, under 14, under 16. So if you look at Neeraj Chopra or Duti Chand or Hima Das or whoever, they all came out of this system. We don't have it. Again, there is a lot of debate that is happening about early specialization, overtraining, and records show that there were about 150 Asian gold medalists. In the last decade, only 4 really made it to the seniors. So there is a lot of so to control that. So it's not an easy game to sort of balance the whole thing, and that's what we're trying to do.
But here's my question to you, sir, because you spoke about India bidding for the 2036 Olympics. How does a marathon like the Tata Mumbai Marathon contribute towards showing the world India's dominance in the world athletics scene?
So whatever has to happen, we need more medals. 6 medals and 7 medals for a country that hosts Olympic Games is a non-starter. To get more medals, you need a base.
We come to that, but take a look at that. We've got the new coastal road,
Yes.
and we've seen the heritage of Mumbai throughout this morning. Now we come to the newer side of Mumbai. Just take a look at this future. The future glimpses of the Mumbai. This is the newest infrastructure that has come to the Mumbai city. The zigzagness of the coastal road, and this is solid tarmac that the athletes will be running on very soon. You see the runners out there taking on to the tarmac already. But coming back to your point, sir.
The only thing I worry a little about is the inclines.
Yeah.
But
That's quite a sympathetic, gradual climb, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
That spiral.
Being an athlete, you're always sympathetic to anybody who has to climb anything, any gradient. Yeah, but coming back, so this is something that creates the foundation. If 69,000 people can actually come and run, and this is not happening in Bombay. Delhi is going the same way. Calcutta is going the same way. Bangalore is going the same way. There are other marathons across the country. There are about 2,000 road races in India annually now, and about 650 of them are actually chip time. They're chip time. So you can see what's happening. It's happening. So that's going to create the base for us.
But I always said that I don't think India has scratched the surface yet of
Not
the
yet.
talent that's out there.
Not yet.
1.4 billion people. Imagine the amount of people out there in the masses who have got tons of talent and don't discover it. It's the same in any society.
Yeah.
You might be a brilliant trumpet player, but you never pick up a trumpet to find out. And runners are there. So you've got to use the analogy. You've got to cast the net and give everybody a chance of being discovered.
Jayant, excuse me, because my attention has just gone to the spectacular views that our drones are capturing of the Mumbai skyline. How stunning is the coastal road looking, because it gives you absolutely open views to the Arabian Sea, and very soon these athletes will come to the most spectacular region of this course. It's going to be the Bandra Worli Sea Link, but for now this is the coastal road. You spoke about inclines. We've taken a look at the course map. According to you, which part of the course is going to be the most challenging?
I think Kensington, as usual, is very challenging, because when you come back, that's what really is the test.
Yeah.
Because you've done about, I think, 39
7 days ago or something. Very tough.
Yeah, and you've done what, about 39 kilometers, 38 kilometers, something like
But
that.
the hill past Ashdod Hospital,
Yeah.
with a few kilometres to go, is a real.
Killer. Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
14 kilometers down, but coming back to the fact that you're an athlete yourself. Now, we're looking at a lot of running hero stories. Stories where people have been able to transform their lives ever since they've taken to the sport of running. Individually, what has running changed for you?
I am what I am because of running. So if I did well in my education, it was because of my running. If I did well as an entrepreneur, it was because of my running. If I did well in business, it was because of running. Because with running, you strive for excellence in whatever you do. So even at my MBA school, I was called in after the first week by my dean and said, "What you're doing, you're burning everybody around you." slow down. And I said, no, but that's how I am. I'm competitive. So it teaches you so much. It teaches you integrity. It teaches you honesty. It teaches you to fight. When you're fallen down, you get up. Even in business, you have some bad years. You fight, you get up. So it actually, it just, your whole life is...
Men talking about champions too.
Yes, and it's been a little bit tough. I'm hearing reports on the course that the hill that goes up past Ashlock Hospital and then drops down towards Haji Ali is not long before they get the new hill and that spiral we just saw on the new coastal road. So those two come as a sort of double whammy in the first half of the race. And I've been getting reports from the course that it's actually quite a tough thing having those two close together. And then, of course, now they're approaching the ceiling, and there's a slight climb up onto the ceiling as well. So the first half of the race looks to be a little bit tougher than it used to be, and that may take its toll through the second half.
That was my worry, and that's what I said right in the beginning. I'm a little concerned about that.
There they are, they're just past 17k, so we can get a split for that there, 52.0, well, about 53, 51, 55 for the elite men. And I'll extrapolate from that. You talk amongst yourselves. I'll extrapolate from that the splits that they're on. But I think they slipped back behind course record a little bit now.
Also, the sun's just about coming out, and they're on the ceiling, of course. When the sun's coming out, how do these difference in conditions change things for the runners?
You know, when the sun comes out, it sucks you. It really sucks everything out of you. You sweat more, you lose more fluids. You need to get in more fluids. The heat gets to you, and it's not easy once the sun gets out and the sun starts beating straight on you, because this part of the road, there is no shade, there are no trees, there is no shade at all. So you're going to have to brave the sun as it comes out.
Yeah, you very rightly mentioned there is going to be no shade, is because where we are right now, the elite athletes are approaching one of the most spectacular sections of this course, is the Bandra Worli Sea Link. Very soon you'll see a shot of that. Our drones will be capturing it. But it is a cable-stayed bridge stretching across the Mahim Bay, connecting the western suburbs to South Bombay. But more importantly for the runners, not a shade.
That's true.
No shade, but that doesn't look like they're running in bright sunshine at the moment. So it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. That's still a nice big men's pack. I'm really pleased to see that, as they've gone through, they're about 17.5 kilometres at the moment, and that's a big pack moving. Well, there's the sun in the distance between the high rises, and it will continue to climb, and the temperature will climb a little bit. Beautiful shots here from that drone behind the elite athletes. And I'm also hearing, by the way, that in the women's elite race, the pre-race favourite, Shuri Demisewari, has dropped back a little bit. She's about 50 metres behind the pack now, so maybe she's having trouble already.
Right, but you know, even though we see longer strides now, you see a lot of confidence in the body, somewhere the momentum will pick up. When exactly does patience give way to aggression?
Well, it's very tempting for anybody who's feeling good through halfway to kick on after that. You know, if you kick on in the third quarter, you've probably gone too early. There's very few marathons are won by somebody who runs away in the second half from early on. Because in the latter stages, that's when things turn around. As you know all too well, Adile, that things, so much can happen in the last few kilometres.
True. And your legs start feeling like jelly.
And it hits you very quickly in a marathon, too.
It hits you like that. So you're suddenly going and boom, it hits you.
I can remember, I ran New York a couple of times, and about 20 miles, which is about 35 kilometres, I was feeling fine. Within a few hundred metres, my legs felt like they belonged to somebody else.
Correct.
I was fine from the waist up, but the legs were just, they'd gone away for lunch or something. It was horrible.
This jelly, you just can't do it. And it just happens like that. So it's very difficult to say what can happen if you kick, and especially if you kick too early, you lost.
But we're talking about world-class athletes here who know that feeling. They've been through it. Most of them have been through it many times, and they gauge the effort, try to gauge the effort correctly. You know, you have to manage yourself through the last third of the race, because if you don't, and if you get that wrong, then it can be really, really horrible the last 3 or 4 kilometres.
Yeah.
But sir, I just had to ask you, with the athletes that came and took on the field and represented India from your time to now, what is the major change and difference that you see?
Everything has changed. When I went to the Olympics in 1980, we didn't even have a synthetic track in India. We used to run on grass and mud and cinder.
Not a single one.
Not a single one. The first one only came in 82. And so we used to run on grass here. Delhi.
Yeah.
So we used to run on grass and mud and cinder, and I had to go to the Olympic Games and run on synthetic. So that was the difference. We had to pay our own to go to the Olympics. Only the airfare was paid. Today I sit on a committee which sanctions literally every week crores of rupees to our athletes who are in the top scheme or in other schemes. And I think also India, you make the highest amount of money if you win a medal. I don't think the amount of money that India gives you, no other country gives you. So lots has changed. The athletes get literally everything that they want, whether it's in terms of infrastructure, in terms of coaches, in terms of mental trainers, physios, doctors, anything. You ask for it and you get it. So it's completely changed. Of course they need it. Of course, because if you have to fight the best in the world, we have to.
If today in person or participating somewhere halfway around the world, you can still feel part of the Mumbai magic. So we're hoping that through technology, we're able to make this a more inclusive race. It's already honestly such an inclusive one, but greeting the world and showing the world what Mumbai has to offer.
I think we're starting because we've got more than 4,000 people participating virtually. So that's a good start. But Tim, what are we looking at?
We're just looking at the international elite women. They're in the white vest. You can see just between these male pacemakers. That's Kidsan Alema Gebramedin of Ethiopia, the 30-year-old who's run 2:22, and she's in her 10th marathon here. And just looking at her CV, she is tiny. She's 1.57 m. That's exactly 5 foot tall. She weighs 42 kilograms. That's 92 pounds. She's a tiny character, so a great power to weight ratio, and looking very comfortable, tucked in there behind the male pacemakers. She's run a 67-minute half marathon, way deeply embedded in world class. She's run a 7th at Paris Marathon 2:25. She's got a wonderful range too through half marathon, a marathon, and consistency. And this is beginning to wear down now to the top half dozen or so in this women's race. So the good thing for the women in these international races is that the male pacemakers can stay with them most of the way. I always feel as though they should pull out in the latter stages, so it becomes a race just between the women themselves. But at the moment, 1 hour 11 on the clock, they're hoping to get the halfway in 72 minutes. And we will soon see a halfway time for these women. I don't think they're far outside course record schedule. Remember that women's course record here in Mumbai, 2:24.15. So halfway, hopefully, will be in the next 30 seconds or so.
Tim, you broke down the 2:07 mark, which is the course record here, and you said that's about 3 minutes or 1 second so per kilometer. Just put it into perspective how fast that is.
Well, it's a lot quicker than Mumbai traffic on a day-to-day basis, I can tell you that. Or New York, or London for that matter. But no, it's super quick, and I love shots when you get these camera shots when you see the athletes from the side, and you get a much better appreciation of how fast they're going when you can see things in the background disappearing behind them. They are flying along, these women. They're not moving at 3:01 pace. These women are moving at around 3:24 per kilometre. Still super quick.
Well, Michelle, you participated in marathons yourself. How did you time it? How did you break it down?
Look, anytime you get to participate in a marathon, no matter what the pace, it's a good thing, right? So it's up front or in the back. Either way, you're
on. And here are our elite men. These men are the inspiration for someone like Namrit Shetty. Take us through the visuals.
Well, here we are, and it's whittled down, hasn't it? Abate there in the green. Tadu Abate Deme, the 28-year-old Ethiopian, looks in control. Big, powerful lad, lovely long stride in those orange shorts. And I think there as well is Leonard Langat. Yeah, Langat there to the left there in purple. The Kenyan has best of 2:06. Abate has a best of 2:05. On paper, about a minute quicker, but he's chosen to just slot in behind the other two. And I think the other athlete there is Kazete. Yes, it is. Kazete of Ethiopia. So we have 2 Ethiopians and a Kenyan. And these 3 battling it out. What's the time? Nearly 1 hour, 29 minutes on the clock. They've got about 30 minutes, probably just under 30 minutes of running to come. The halfway time, we don't have an exact halfway split, but we think it was around 64.5 minutes. So they might run negative splits here, which means the second half will be quicker than the first half. And Langat here is running very aggressively indeed. Now, he's 29 years old. His personal best was 4 years ago in Vienna. But he's a former half-marathon specialist. He's got really good speed in his legs in that purple vest. He's done over 40 half-marathons. Indeed, he's run in the Delhi half-marathon a couple of times. Finished 7th in Delhi and 2nd in Delhi. And he's familiar with sub-60 minutes for a half-marathon. Super world-class half-marathon racing. It may be that today is his day in Mumbai over the full marathon distance, because that's aggressive pushing from him. He could sit in with those other two, but he's trying to lead them and break them.
They're in Burley right now. They'll be back on the coastal road very soon. But at this point, you know, you're halfway down through the race here. It's getting intense. You've got Langat leading the pack. But Tim, what is the conversation they're having with themselves at this point?
Well, they're probably looking at each other, trying to check out each other, the body language, what they can read from the others. The thing is, they've still got a long way to go. They've got about 25, 30 minutes of running to come, so you don't want to give away too much. It's very, very hard to tell. If you're struggling, you don't want the others to sense that. You don't want them to be able to see it, so you try to look good. But all three of them at the moment are looking pretty good, but one of them is probably thinking, I've got this. When with 25 minutes to go, you're almost psychologically in the home straight. Not literally on the ground, of course, but psychologically you're thinking, I've got this, if you're feeling good.
Right, let's take a look at the course now. Let's take a look at the courses, show exactly where they are. We're a little above 28 kilometers. We are 1 hour 30 minutes and more into the race, and here they are, and this is what remains.
So they're just halfway up the big hill, going past Jaslock Hospital, and then that long running along the coastal road and Marine Drive before they take a left onto Vietnam Road and up to the finish line. That final kilometre and a half or so when they turn away from the coast could be critical, but look at this.
And as they chase now, of course, towards the glory, they're getting back to the coastal road. And as we were speaking about the coastal road, the gradients here are tough because there's a bit of a climb, there are a few sharp turns, but these pro athletes have studied the course rather well, the international elite men. But if you just had to put into words, what were you expecting from the race, and how has it turned out for the international elite men so far, Tim?
Well, it's whittled down from a pack of about 10 to these three pretty quickly. So it seems as though when they got to about 3/4 distance, that's when quite a few guys had to let go. And, you know, there comes a point in a distance race where you're hanging on to the leaders. And if you're really feeling the pressure, you will stubbornly hang on, because that's what a distance runner's nature is. It is to be stubborn and tough. But there has to be a point where you make a decision to let go. Otherwise, you'll implode and not even finish the race. So it looks as though around 3/4 distance, most of the pack broke away. There's a fabulous shot there, an awful lot of tarmacking shot, but good quality running surface. And of course now they can enjoy, I think, a downhill sweep on the coastal road. Although the green vest of Tata Mumbai, the Ethiopian, who is the fastest of these three on paper, has taken the lead. He seems to be pushing on. I think he's trying to break the other two early here.
Well, it's down to 3 that we see, and spectacular views of the coastal road, the newest addition to Mumbai's infrastructure that definitely has bolstered Mumbai's infrastructure. Now, as we see, there's a bit of a treat there. There's a down slope, but it gets challenging as we go ahead. There's a bit of a hill to climb as they come on to the Marine Drive yet again. But we've just given you a course map as to where they are and where they will be. Just talking about, yes.
I was just going to say, that split that came up on the screen, 30k, 1:31.29, that shows they're on schedule for about 30 seconds slower than the course record. I mean, it's fabulously quick. If they can really hack through these last few kilometres, then there's a chance here we could have a course record, a sub-2:08 time, which is special here in Mumbai. And what I like is that while they're sticking together, this pack, this trio, you could throw a blanket over that trio. There is aggressive running going on here, and I think Tata Mumbai, the Ethiopian in the lead in the green vest, he's the one trying to break the other two. And that's what could mean an acceleration in these last few kilometres and a really quick time.
Right, the top 3 there, are you a little surprised by a certain name missing there?
Only to a certain degree. I mean, Bazizu Asmari Belay is a 2:04 performer, incredibly consistent. He's not there. Victor Kiplangat, the Commonwealth champion, he's not there. So they have broken some big names. But, you know, marathon running is a tough old game. This was a very, very strong field in depth. It was so strong, the men's field, the top 6 or 8 guys, it was almost impossible to pick out a favourite. So It was a bit of a lottery, but these are the three who have come out on top so far. We're a long way from the finish, don't forget. 1:34 on the clock. We've still got over 30 minutes of running to come. That's a Gazette here. Well done, Mariam. He is an astonishing athlete. This gentleman in white leading is 40 years old. He didn't start running serious marathons until he was 30. Quite astonishing. He asked him why at the press conference why he didn't get running until 30. He said, I had so many different jobs. He said, I was in the military for a long time and it just delayed my getting a north. But now they're coming back and of course it's, an hour later and they're running on tired legs. And this is such a vicious kick in the tail of this Mumbai Marathon course when there's a massive hill in the latter stages like this. But it is interesting to see that it's still Tadu Abatedeme of Ethiopia who is doing the aggressive running here in the green vest. He's done the most work. He's done the most, made the most effort to try and break the other two. He hasn't had any reward yet, but distance running is about patience. You have to keep pushing. It's almost like punching away at somebody and waiting for a result.
Well, we see there's plenty of action here at the international elite men. You have a very in, of course, the lead, but there will be moments away when the rest of the two also about to surge. But on the other side, there's some action here at the international elite women as well. Take me through it.
Yes, and just looking at Enyu and Yeshi and Kidsan. Well, Kidsan Gebredemedin, the 30-year-old, is a 2:22 performer. She's at the back of this trio. She's the one who I said earlier is so tiny. She's 92 pounds. Exactly 5 foot tall, 1 meter 57. Yeshi there, that's Yeshi Chekole. She is one of the pre-race favourites. She's a 2:21 performer. Indeed, she's the second fastest in the race. And Bernard there still doing a great job as a pacemaker for the rest of them. Bernard Cheptok of Uganda, the 33-year-old. He's been there all the way through, as has Gebreyes, who's doing a fabulous job as well. Dawit Belaju Gebreyes, pacemaker for this women's pack as well. Yeshi, well, just looking at her form, she is certainly looking comfortable to me, but it's always a bit deceptive with women because they generally, in these mixed races, that's a mix of men and women, as opposed to a women-only race, are tucked in behind a pacemaker, so nobody's having to do the work to lead, which quite often gives you a clue as to the form. Having said that, Kidsan on the near side, this looks like she's easing into the lead here, maybe moving past Yeshi. Yes, she is. So this is a totally Ethiopian dust-up. We knew that would be the case. The whole women's elite international field are Ethiopian. But they're running for big money here. Let's not forget, first place $50,000, second place $25,000. If you lose by a metre, that's an expensive metre.
Yes, you've just seen Kidsan take the lead. You've got Yeshi behind her. You spoke about her body language, Tim. You said she looks comfortable. I thought she's struggling a little bit. You can see that it is getting tough for her. But talking about pacemakers, you spoke a very important point with pacemakers here in the women's race. You always have them all the way. How much do the pacemakers need to practice when they take on a race like this?
Well, the pacemakers obviously have to be very fit. They have to train like any other world-class distance running athlete. But it's about pace judgment. That's the most important factor you need from a pacemaker for obvious reasons. Here's that Indian women's pack, 4 of them together, working hard. 1 hour 50 on the clock. They've got probably around an hour of running to come yet, so they've got plenty of racing to come. I am a little concerned that there's 4 of them so close together because it implies that 1 or 2 of them might be holding back and just enjoying a comfortable ride here. Although, as I say that, that's Nirma Bentakur in the white vest who's pushing to the fore, and this may be a surge from her. This looks pretty aggressive. I think just then, Redeemer, she had a glance over her shoulder and another one to see what sort of damage this is doing to the 3 behind her. So the 28-year-old, she is the defending champion, don't forget. She ran 2 hours 50 last year.
But also gunning for a hat-trick. So I'm very, very pleased to see Nirma Bentakur take the lead there. And let me tell you, she's won it in 2024. She's done it again in 2025. And she's gunning for a hat-trick here in 2026. Wanting to join another woman, the only woman to have done it from India. It's Lalita Babur. Can she do it? That's the question. Coming back to the international elite men, they are here at the pedal road. This is where it gets tough and challenging.
Well, it was tough on the upslope, but now I think they're on the downslope, so it flattens out. I mean, it's a deceptive hill on the bit they're on. There are 2 parts to it, and it flattens out in the middle. I think they're on the flat section now, and then it'll drop down again towards the beach and the Marine Drive and the coastal road. But again, that tall figure, and he does move nicely. Abate in the green and orange, and he's dragging the 40-year-old Eritrean Mahawi Kizete. Well, then Mariam's given him his full name. He's dragging him with him. But very, very hard to pick out a favourite from these three. I suppose all you can go on is what you can see, and that is Abate has been the most aggressive, the man in green.
Right, it's getting intense now. It is rather getting intense. These are the final few kilometers of the race. We are almost 1 hour, 53 minutes, and more importantly, not just fun, it's the fact that they've inspired so many other families to be able to participate here at the Mumbai Marathon. Now, international event, over to you, Tim.
Well, Leonard Langat rather, pushing on really strongly here. He's looking tired now, and it seems to me that Abate there in the orange shorts, the green vest, has absorbed everything thrown at him. It's like two heavyweights now, with just a very few kilometres to go, and Abate tucked in his slipstream. Now, the interesting thing about that, as we see Langat look at his watch, is Langat can't turn around and get any information about body language. Mind you, having said that, Abate in the green is grimacing. You can see those teeth now. He's working hard. They do seem to have dropped Gazete Weldemariam to the left of picture. The little Eritrean, 40 years old, has run fantastically. If he can hang on these last 3 or 4 kilometres, he's going to get onto the rostrum. He's going to win prize, big prize money. But it looks like the race now is between these two to right of picture. Abate in the green and orange, tucked in right behind Leonard Langat. The Ethiopian behind the Kenyan. And it's very, very hard to pick out a favourite, although Abate, I think, looks the smoother of the two. Moves up alongside Langat now. Does he sense that Langat was struggling? When you're behind somebody, you can study their form. You can look at every aspect of the way they're holding their shoulders. Are their shoulders tight? Is their stride looking awkward? And Abate's been able to do that behind Langat for the last few minutes. Langat beginning to look a little bit rugged to me. And he too is working really hard. I mean, look, nearly 2 hours on the clock. I think they're going to run around just outside 2:08, maybe 2:08:30, something like that. So they've got about 8 or 9 minutes of tough running to come. We really are at the sharp end of this race. And as I say that, so the little figure of the Eritrean in the background, I think, might be closing on them. Wouldn't that be a turn-up?
It would be rather interesting. You've got the final few minutes remaining here at the Tata Mumbai Marathon. And I believe there's a break here too.
It does look like it, yes. I think that's Yeshi, who's eased away. Yeshi Chekole. Yes, it is. Yeshi Chekole. Very, very consistent racer. Last year, she started 3 marathons in 2025. She didn't finish Osaka in Japan in February. Then she was 4th in Harbin in China in 2:30 and 3rd in Incheon in South Korea in 2:23. So she finished her year really well. She's got a great half marathon time. She's run 67 for a half marathon, so she's got good speed. Here she is on the biggest hill on the course. And this is tough when you're on your own like this. The only great thing about this sort of situation, Redeemer, is when you break away in a distance race like this, and it's the latter stages, the adrenaline flows because you're beginning to get a sniff of the win, of the victory. Massive prize money too, being dangled like a carrot on the road ahead of her.
Yes, she'll be looking forward to that. And you very rightly mentioned about the conversations that are probably going on with yourself in your head when you've taken the lead like that. But how tough does it get now when you're running absolutely alone? Individual, you've taken that big break, there is no one around you. That must be tough.
Well, it's tough, but sometimes it makes you more relaxed because you're not thinking about others. You also know, Yeshi there on the right of picture knows she's broken the others. They've obviously hit their red line. They've gotten through their red line. They couldn't stay with her. So she manages his last 5K or so well. She's got the race in the bag. And left of picture, look, to Tadu Abate Deme of Ethiopia. Looked like he might have broken Leonard Langat. This next couple of minutes is absolutely critical because Langat in the purple there, left of picture, in second place, has got a gap, about 5 metres between himself and the Ethiopian. He's trying desperately to hang on to the coattails of Tadu Abate Deme. On paper, Abate is quicker. He's about a minute and a half quicker on paper, but every race is different.
But I tell you what, Tim, that international event is rather intense because we missed out on those couple of seconds because what we saw just a few seconds ago, you had Abate and Langat going shoulder to shoulder. Here Abate is taking a rather lead. But do you see Langat challenging him in the final few kilometres?
I don't know. I mean, so much can happen in a short space of time in a marathon. Can you see them there? Right in the middle, probably being bounced on his mum's lap. As a dad head flop, maybe big money, but now another turn up. Langat goes to the front. This is an astonishing battle. This is like a real punch-up between two heavyweights. Neither of them giving any quarter. They're both absolutely exhausted here. Pretty soon, they'll turn left away from Marine Drive on a slight uphill towards the finish. It's anybody's race between these two. Place your bets, folks, because I just cannot tell who's going to take this.
It is rather intense. You've got two of the best out there locking horns, and this is going to be a finish for ages. But just very quickly, do you train differently to finish a race, Tim? And what makes a good finisher?
Well, it's very hard to say. I mean, I don't think speed becomes a factor now. It is just sheer strength and mind over matter. So it's a mental battle between these two now as much as a physical battle. They've gone through 40k in 2:03.08. He's working really hard here, is Langa. He's gasping for air. They've gone through 40k in 2:03.08. Add 6 minutes to that. They're probably going to run around 2:09. It's not about the clock now, as the temperature climbs a little bit here in Mumbai. It's about who is the toughest mentally. There's that left-hand turn, the last major corner. Langa glancing at his watch. I'm not quite sure what for.
And Abate takes the lead. I could tell that is because Langa just seems to be struggling a bit more than Abate.
Yeah. Abate looks so strong, doesn't he? Holds himself really well. That arm carries, the hands look nice and relaxed too. Little glance over his shoulder there. And I think he was tucked in behind Langat there for about a minute. He could see that Langat was becoming more and more ragged, and now he accelerates. And the gap is growing all the time. Langat is accelerating as well. He's not giving up. But you know what the old coaches say in distance running? When you go past somebody in a race, try to look good, because they will notice that, and almost subliminally, subconsciously, they will pick up on the fact that you are strong. So what Abate is doing here is exactly right. He's absolutely trying to grind Langat into the dirt here with his really powerful surge to get the gap and break the spirit of the Kenyan. That's what we're seeing unfold here. 25 metres the gap now, and Langat's spirit is being pummeled by the Ethiopian. It's brilliant racing.
Langat is looking strong, he's looking confident, he's got aggression, and the gap, as you very rightly suggested here, Tim, is growing. It is Langat's race, about his race to finish. Now you've got Langat, of course, out there. The gap is growing a bit much, but they're reaching the Flora Fountain here in Mumbai. Is the final few moments of the race, 400 meters to go, and it just is inching closer to the finish line. Remember, we'll be coming back to the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj terminus, and wait for it. It's going to be rather interesting.
It's going to be fantastic. Do you know what? It's not going to be far outside the course record. The course record was 2:07.32. I wonder if he knows now how close he is to the course record. I think it's going to slip out of his grasp. He's got 30 seconds to go to get to the course record. 1 kilometre to go there, a sign on the road. I'm not sure that is absolutely correct. If it is, he's got another 3 minutes of running to come. If there is a kilometre to go, he's got another 3 minutes of hard running to come. But Langat now 50 metres behind and dropping back with every stride as this slight uphill plays in the favour of Abate Deme. Takes that left-hand sweeping turn, 800 metres to run. Just choosing the correct line here. He's following, so often you get this in races, athletes in their absolute state of fatigue will follow a camera, a bike camera, almost anywhere. I've seen them run off course before behind following a bike rather than stay on the obvious course. But there it is. Look at the crowds on the other side there from the Dream Run. They will be cheering him on as they witness this historic win from Tadu Abate Deme, the 28-year-old Ethiopian. He is a 2:05 performer. That was in Tokyo 3 years ago. But this has been a quite magnificent run from him. He had a battle royal this last 20 minutes with Leonard Langat, who put up fantastic resistance. But now, in the last few hundred metres, Abate is moving smoothly. He can relax a little bit now. He can relax a little bit. I don't think he's chasing a time. He knows he's got the race won. He's had a glance around. And he looks more like a track runner now, rocking from side to side. He's got to be very, very tired. The temperature outside, it's climbed a little bit over the last hour or so. But there's another little glance to see if Langat was in range. No, 400 metres to run, 2:08.44 at that point. He's probably going to run just inside 2:10. And on a course which I think probably most people would say, with the new coastal road and that spiral climb, has been a little bit slower than in the past. Maybe this is a fabulous run all the same against the clock.
Only 300 meters to go, and Abate. That has to be one of the most spectacular displays of distance running because he's still smiling, he's still waving at his supporters and people who are cheering him. And he's about to finish. And Langa, who was just behind him a couple of seconds ago, is nowhere to be seen now.
No, he's not. Abate has time to celebrate here as he comes towards the finish line. He's a Chelsea fan. He'll have been happy with their result yesterday. His coach, Getamese, has several athletes in the race, and this has been a great success for him. His wife, Rosa, and the kids back at home will be screaming at their TV watching Dad come home to a magnificent victory here. Just inside 2 hours 10. He wins the 21st Tata Mumbai Marathon there, 2:09.53 unofficially. Quite magnificent. The execution was supreme. Leonard Langer, what stout resistance he put up. He comes in just outside 2:10, 2:10.07 unofficially. And a brilliant run from him to second place, makes the rostrum, second place prize money. And look at this, the Eritrean, 40 years old, 2:10.19 unofficially there. Absolutely superb from Mehawi Kazete Weldemariam, getting better and better like a good wine.
We have our top three, our podium finishers here in the Tata Mumbai Marathon International Elite Men. And we've got a Saran Abate who's displayed distance running at his finest. Clocks in 2:09.50.
እንደተመለከታችሁት በወንዶች ውድድር ታዱ አባተ አስገራሚ ድል አስመዝግቧል። በዚህ መድረክ ኬንያዊው ኪፕሮቲች ላንጋት አምና ሁለተኛ ከወጣው ኤርትራዊው መሐሪ ከሰተና ከታዱ አባተ ጋር ትልቅ ትንቅንቅ ነበረ በመጀመሪያዎቹ ኪሎሜትሮች ላይ ሲያደርጉ የነበሩት። የ2023 ዓለም ሻምፒዮን የማራቶን አሸናፊው ዩጋንዳዊው ቪክቶር ኪፕላንጋትና ኢትዮጵያዊው ገዳ ገምሲሳም ቢሆን እስከ ውድድሩ አጋማሽ ድረስ ጥሩ ተፎካካሪ መሆናቸውን አስመልክተውናል። እስከ 40ኛው ኪሎ ሜትር ድረስ ታዱ አባተና ላንጋት እየተፈራረቁ ውድድሩን መርተዋል። ኤርትራዊው መሐሪ ከሰተ ደግሞ 50 ሜትር ገደማ ከኋላ ሸርተት ብሎ ሲከተላቸው ቆይቷል። ነገር ግን በመጨረሻዎቹ ኪሎ ሜትሮች ላይ ታዱ አባተ ፍጥነቱን በመጠቀም አፈትልኮ የወጣ ሲሆን ለዚህ ተግባሩ የሚሆን ምላሽ ግን ማንም መስጠት አልቻለም። እናም ውድድሩን 2 ሰዓት ከ09:55 በሆነ ሰዓት አሸናፊ ሆኗል። 15 ሰከንድ የዘገየው ላንጋት ሁለተኛ ሆኖ ሲያጠናቅቅ ኤርትራዊው መሐሪ ከሰተ 2 ሰዓት ከ10:22 ሶስተኛ ሆኖ ጨርሷል። ታዱ አባተ ከውድድሩ መጠናቀቅ በኋላ በሰጠው አስተያየት በማሸነፉ እጅግ ደስተኛ መሆኑን ገልጿል። በውድድሩ ላይ ለነበሩ ስፖንሰሮችና ለውድድሩ አዘጋጆች ምስጋናውን ያቀረበ ሲሆን የውድድሩ ዳገታማ ስፍራዎች እጅግ ፈታኝ እንደነበሩ ግን አልሸሸገም። የመጨረሻዎቹን ኪሎሜትሮች ግን ፈተናዎቹን በጥሩ ሁኔታ በመወጣት አሸናፊ ሆኖ ለማጠናቀቅ ጥሩ ሩጫ ማድረጉን ገልጿል።
Supporters there, and here you've got Yeshi. Yeshi is closing in as well, leading now.
Yes, Yeshi Chekole. Again, she's working really hard with her arms to keep those legs coming through, but she's up on the flat now and heading towards the finish line. And CSMT easing away from that Indian elite male. Some way outside her personal best of 2:21.17. This is her 10th marathon. She's sort of been polishing her art, her skills as a marathon runner. But as I said earlier, her last marathon was only 8 weeks ago. I asked her at the press conference 2 days ago if she discussed the race with her coach, and she said yes, that the coach said, trust the training you've done. That was the main message. We see a wonderful shot of the first three men there. The champion in the middle, Kartik Kakera. The new kid on the block in Indian distance running. And I wonder if he's run his way into a place in the Asian Games team.
Yeah, when we came into the race, we were talking about, the possibilities of the Indian elite men. You had a certain Anish Thapa there. People were talking about him, the defending champion. You had a certain Man Singh that people were talking about, the man who's recorded a personal best at Valencia and is in great momentum and great form. And on the other side, you also had a Pradeep Chaudhary. But Kartik is a name that nobody mentioned, a new kid on the block for sure, and a superstar in the making. On the other side, coming back to the international elite women, we do have a winner that we see. We don't see any competition out there. 300 meters to go. It is a Yeshi Chekole.
Yeah, Chekole, barring disaster, is going to be crowned champion here in Mumbai. Temperature now about 23 degrees out on the streets of Mumbai. 200 meters to go. That'll be a very welcome sight for her if she saw it at all. And in a way, it's quite good that she had that Indian elite male to race against over this last kilometre or so. But as the finish line gets closer and closer, so her form seems to look better and better. I think it's just the knowledge that you can stop very, very soon and start recovering. Brilliant run from Yeshi Chekole. 2:25 clicks by. The course record, remember, 2:24.15. She's going to be less than a minute outside the course record. It's the run of the day in many respects. Brilliant there. As she takes the title in this 21st Tata Mumbai Marathon, just outside 2:25. Wow. She has destroyed that field with a really strong closing 10 kilometres. Big prize money. Big upgrade in status too for Chekole. It's 3 minutes or so outside her personal best, but that doesn't matter. She is an out-and-out distance racer at half marathon and marathon. Very modest times on the track for 10,000 meters. She doesn't have great speed for track racing, but her consistency on the roads has been underlined today with this big win here in Mumbai. Brilliant stuff. Waiting for confirmation of that time. 2:26.12, is that 2:25.13?
It's 2:25.13.
2:25.13.
2:25.13, and she truly has destroyed that field. We still are waiting for the second place and the third place finish in the international elite women. But Yeshi coming into the Tata Mumbai Marathon. Was she amongst the top 3 names that you anticipated finishing?
She was second fastest on paper, but the really significant stat is that she is less than a minute outside the event record. I mean, really fabulous run. Intrinsically, it's the best run of the day. There's that form, just allowing herself to break into a smile in the closing strides.
It has been an interesting day, isn't it? Where Karthik from the Indian elite men not only finishes first, gets the gold, but also overall.
በሴቶቹ ውድድር አንደኛ የወጣችው የሺ በትልልቅ ማራቶኖች ላይ አሸናፊ ስትሆን ይህ የመጀመሪያዋ ነው። የ28 ዓመቷ ሯጭ በዚህ ርቀት ከ2019 ጀምሮ ስትሮጥ ብትቆይም ትልቅ የሚባል ድል ግን ማሳካት ተስኗት ቆይታለች። አትሌቷ ከውድድሩ አስቀድሞ በነበረ ጋዜጣዊ መግለጫ ላይ ቀድማ የተናገረችውን በሙሉ ተግብረዋለች። 12 ኢትዮጵያውያን ሴቶች ውድድሩ ላይ ተካፍለዋል። ከነዚህ መካከል ግን ቅድመ ግምት የተሰጠው ፈጣን ሰዓት ይዛ ለነበረችው ሹሬ ደምሴ ነበረ። 2 ሰዓት ከ20:59 እና አምና 3ኛ በሙምባይ በወጣችው መዲና ደሚያርምሞ ትልቅ የአሸናፊነት ግምት ወስደው ነበር። መዲና አምና አንደኛና ሁለተኛ የወጡት ዘንድሮ ባለመካፈላቸው ለውድድሩ ትልቅ የአሸናፊነት ግምት ተሰጥቷት ነበር። ምክንያቱም የውድድሩን ኮርስ ጠንቅቃ ታውቃለች በሚል ትንበያ የሺ በውድድሩ እስከ መጨረሻው ጥቂት ኪሎሜትሮች ድረስ ከጎጃም ጸጋይና ብርቄ ደበሌ ጋር አብራ ስትሮጥ ታይታለች። በመጨረሻ ግን አንደኛ ለመሆን አፈትልካ በመውጣት ወርቁን 2 ሰዓት ከ25:13 ሰከንድ በመግባት የቦታውን 5ኛ ፈጣን ሰዓት አስመዝግባ አጠናቃለች። ከድሉ በኋላ በሰጠችው አስተያየት ዛሬ በማሸነፌ በጣም ተደስቻለሁ። የቦታውን ክብረ ወሰን ለመስበር በማሰብ ነበር የመጣሁት። ነገር ግን አየር ንብረቱ ትንሽ ፈትኖኛል። በውጤቱ እጅግ ተደስቻለሁ። በውድድሩ ሁሉ ጥንካሬና መልካም ስሜት ሲሰማኝ ነበር። በተለይ ዳገትና ቁልቁለት ያለበት ስፍራ ተመችቶኛል ብላለች። ሁለተኛ የወጣችው ቅድሳን አለማ በቦታው የነበሩ ተከታታዮችን አድንቃለች። የአየር ንብረቱ ግን ፈታኝ መሆኑን አልካደችም። በውድድሩ መሃል ሰውነቴ በጣም ሙቀት ተሰምቶት ከመሪዎቹ መሃልም ትንሽ ሸርተት ለማለት ተገድጄ ነበር ስትል ገልጻለች። በዚህ በሙምባይ ማራቶን ኢትዮጵያውያን አትሌቶች በሁለቱም ጾታ አንደኛ በመውጣት አሸናፊ ሆነው ሲያጠናቅቁ ይህ ለ7ኛ ጊዜ የተከሰተ ሆኗል። በአንድ ውድድር ሁለቱንም ጾታ አሸንፈው ሲገቡ እናም በቦታው የነበሩ ተከታታዮች ከፍ ያለ አድናቆታቸውን ሲሰጡ ተመልክተናል። የተወደዳችሁ የኢትዮ አትሌቲክስ ተከታታዮች ይህንን ውድድር ስለተከታተላችሁ እናመሰግናለን። ላይክ፣ ሼር፣ ኮሜንት በማድረግ ይህ ቪዲዮ ለብዙ ሰዎች እንዲዳረስ አግዙን። ሰብስክራይብ በማድረግ ቤተሰባችን ሆኑ። ሰላም።